Let me tell you something. Life ain't just about who you let in. It's about who you keep out. Some people, they'll smile in your face, pat you on the back, and all the while, they're sharpening the knife they're going to use on you. And if you're not careful, if you don't learn to recognize them, they will drain you emotionally, spiritually, even financially, until there's nothing left of you but regret. So listen closely, because this might just save you from years of pain. There are 7 types of people you should never trust, no matter what. Number 1, the one who talks too much. Let me paint you a picture. You've just shared something important, something personal, maybe something you've never told anyone before. It's a part of your soul, your struggle, your dream, something that means a lot to you. You trust the person you're speaking to. You think they understand, and in that moment, everything seems fine. But then something happens. The next thing you know, that very secret, that personal moment you shared is now the topic of conversation at a gathering, in a text message, or worse, on social media. And when you hear it, your heart drops. Why? Because they didn't keep it to themselves. They didn't respect your vulnerability. They didn't honor your trust. And now everything feels exposed. Now, let me ask you, how often do you meet someone like this? Someone who talks too much, spills your secrets, and betrays your trust without even a second thought. They talk without thinking about the consequences. They act like what you shared with them was never sacred, never meant to stay between the two of you. They wear the words you spoke like a badge, flaunting them for everyone to see. They don't even realize, or maybe they don't care, that when they open their mouth, they are cutting you, wounding you in ways they might never understand. The truth is, we've all been there, haven't we? We've all been caught in the crossfire of someone's careless words. But let me make it crystal clear. People who talk too much are dangerous. They're dangerous to your peace, your confidence, and your well-being. The moment you trust someone with your deepest thoughts, your most intimate feelings, and they turn it into gossip, they've shown you a side of them you can't unsee. They've made it clear they don't care about your boundaries, your needs, or your privacy. They've shown you who they truly are: selfish, disrespectful, and inconsiderate. And trust me, you need to take notice of that. When someone talks too much, they often don't just spill your secrets. They start spinning stories. You can't believe what they say, because you know they'll twist the truth to fit their narrative. And if they're doing it to you, trust me, they're doing it to everyone else too. They're taking liberties with other people's lives, fabricating things to make themselves look important, to get attention, to seem like the center of every conversation. But here's the catch. Those who talk too much often reveal themselves to be people who don't know how to listen. They don't know how to have a real meaningful conversation. They don't know how to show respect through silence. All they know is noise. They fill every space with words, hoping that the more they say, the more they matter. But the more you say, the less you matter. And you know what happens? They become nothing more than noise in your life. Noise that distracts you, drains you, and ultimately leaves you feeling less than you were before. They steal your energy without even trying. It's a constant barrage of words, opinions, and helpful advice that isn't really helpful at all. It's just them filling the air with sound, trying to make sure they're heard, while you're sitting there hoping for a moment of peace, hoping for someone to just listen for once. Now, the real danger isn't just in what they say, but in the way they manipulate the truth. They don't just gossip. They twist, they exaggerate, and they distort. And by the time their version of events has traveled through their network of friends, family, or coworkers, you hardly recognize the story anymore. It's become a game of broken trust and misunderstood intentions. And the more they talk, the more they create a reality that fits their needs, their desires, and their agenda. Meanwhile, you're left trying to put out fires that were never your fault in the first place. The people who talk too much are experts at manipulation. They'll spin things just enough to make you question yourself, your decisions, your relationships. And when you're caught in their web of words, it's like a never-ending cycle of second guessing. Was I wrong for telling them that? Should I have kept it to myself? How could they twist it that way? But here's the truth you need to understand. The problem isn't you, it's them. The problem is that they never understood the weight of the words they carry. They never realized the power of trust, the responsibility that comes with being trusted. They treat everything as disposable, and that's where they fail. Let me ask you something. How much of your life are you willing to give to people who don't respect you? How much more are you going to tolerate people who can't even keep their word, let alone your confidence? Trust is a fragile thing, and once it's broken, it's almost impossible to rebuild. And people who talk too much don't just break your trust, they shatter it. They make it feel like your vulnerability was just a game to them. They make you feel foolish for ever thinking they could be someone you could lean on. And every time they talk, they add another layer to the distance between you. You see, a person who talks too much doesn't understand the value of silence. They don't understand the value of listening, of holding space for someone else's emotions. But let me tell you something. The ability to listen, to be there when someone needs you without the need to fill the space with your own voice, is one of the most valuable things you can offer. If someone can't give you that, then they don't deserve your trust. They don't deserve your time. So listen closely. Pay attention to who you let in. The ones who talk too much will eventually expose themselves. They'll show you exactly who they are. And once you see them for what they are, people who cannot be trusted, you need to make the decision to cut them out of your life. Your peace is too valuable to allow people who can't keep their mouths shut to hold any space in it. Trust is earned, not given freely. And when someone talks too much, they've shown you they don't deserve it. And you know what? That's okay. It's okay to walk away from people who don't respect your trust. Your life, your peace, your happiness, they're worth so much more than their endless chatter. Number 2, the one who never apologizes. You ever been hurt by someone, but when the dust settles, there's not a single word of regret, not a single apology to mend the wound? They leave you feeling empty, like they've taken something precious from you, but refuse to acknowledge the damage they've done. They never say, "I'm sorry," never admit they were wrong. Instead, they act like nothing happened, like the pain they caused is just something you should get over. You're left standing there, wondering if your feelings even matter, and trust me, I've been there. Here's the thing. You can't move forward with people who refuse to apologize. I don't care how much time you've invested in them, how much you've given, or how many times you've tried to make things right. If they can't look you in the eye and admit they were wrong, then what are you even doing? You can't build trust on top of pride. You can't build a foundation on top of someone's unwillingness to take responsibility. The reality is, pride is a silent killer. It eats at the heart of relationships, turning what could have been a meaningful connection into something shallow and fragile. Now let's be real here for a second. No one's perfect. We all make mistakes. We all do things we regret. But there's a world of difference between the person who acknowledges their faults and the one who simply refuses to own up to them. The person who apologizes shows growth. They show that they understand they've hurt you and they want to do better. But the person who never apologizes, they show you that they don't care enough to change. And that is a cold, hard truth you can't ignore. When someone refuses to apologize, it doesn't just hurt you, it disrespects you. It shows that they don't value your emotions, your experience, or your pain. You could be standing there pouring your heart out, explaining how their actions hurt you, but instead of hearing an apology, you hear silence or excuses. They'll say things like, "I didn't mean it that way," or "You're just overreacting." It's a way of deflecting responsibility, of shifting the blame onto you, making you feel like you're the one who's wrong. But here's the truth. When someone can't own their mistakes, they're telling you that you're not worth their effort to change. They're telling you that your pain doesn't matter. And that's something you can never let slide. But it's not just about a single apology. It's about patterns. People who never apologize are trapped in a cycle of self-righteousness, constantly thinking they're above making mistakes. They act like their words and actions don't have consequences. They want to have it all: relationships, respect, love, without ever giving you the one thing you need most: accountability. And when that happens, you're left giving your heart to someone who will never value it the way they should. You're giving everything while they're giving nothing in return. And let's not forget how this behavior affects you on a deeper level. When someone never apologizes, it sows seeds of doubt inside of you. You start to wonder if you're being too sensitive, too demanding. You start questioning whether you're being fair. But listen, your feelings are valid. They matter. And if someone can't acknowledge that, then they don't deserve the space they occupy in your life. I know it's hard. I know that sometimes we stay in situations hoping for change, waiting for an apology that may never come. But here's the hard truth. People who don't apologize never change. They'll keep repeating the same behaviors over and over, expecting you to forgive them without ever making the effort to fix the damage. And you can't let that happen. Because if you keep letting them get away with it, they'll start to believe that it's okay to hurt you, to take you for granted, to leave you in a state of constant emotional turmoil. You see, an apology is more than just words. It's an act of healing. It's a sign that the person is willing to mend what's broken, that they care about the bond between you. It's their way of saying, I see you, I see your pain, and I'm sorry for the part I played in causing it. Without that, you're just left hanging in the air, waiting for something that's never coming. And I'm telling you right now, you deserve better than that. You deserve to be with people who can acknowledge their wrongs, who can take accountability for their actions, and who can make the effort to do better. Because if they can't do that, then they're not the right people for you. Now, I know some of you may be thinking, but what if they don't know how to apologize? What if they're just too prideful or afraid to admit they were wrong? And I get it, I really do. Sometimes people are scared to show vulnerability, but here's the thing. Apologies require humility. And if someone's too prideful to show humility, then they're too prideful to truly care about you. The fear of admitting they were wrong shouldn't stand in the way of preserving the connection you have. If they're not willing to humble themselves for the sake of the relationship, then they're not as invested as they should be. At the end of the day, you need to protect your heart, and part of protecting your heart is knowing when to walk away from people who can't respect it. People who never apologize will leave you in a constant state of emotional limbo, always wondering if they'll ever see the hurt they caused and make things right. But they won't. They'll keep moving through life with the same pride, the same selfishness, and the same lack of accountability, expecting you to just accept it. You don't need to accept it. You deserve someone who knows how to say, I'm sorry when it counts. Someone who knows how to take responsibility. And if someone can't do that for you, it's time to let them go. Because, my friend, there's no room in your life for someone who can't show you the simple decency of an apology. Number 3, the one who only shows up when they need something. Have you ever had someone in your life who only seems to appear when they need something from you? At first, it might seem like a coincidence. Maybe they're just going through a tough time, or maybe it's a one-time thing. But after a while, you start to notice the pattern. They only reach out when it's convenient for them, when they need you to give them something. And when the tables are turned, when you need them, when you're struggling, suddenly they're nowhere to be found. It's like they've disappeared, like they don't even know who you are. The phone calls stop, the texts go unanswered, and that friend you thought you had is nowhere in sight. But the moment they need something again, they're right back at your door, asking for help, asking for you to drop everything for them. You've probably felt it. You've probably been that person who gave and gave, only to be left standing there when the favor you needed was just as important. And let me tell you something. You are not alone. We've all been there. We've all had people who only reach out when there's something to gain. And it's a hard thing to admit. It's hard to accept that someone you trusted, someone you thought cared about you, is using you for their own gain. But that's the reality. They show up only when it serves their needs. And in the meantime, they're nowhere to be found when you need them the most. Here's the problem with people like this. They see your value not for who you are, but for what you can do for them. They don't care about your well-being, your feelings, or your needs. They only care about what they can get from you. And I'm not talking about the occasional favor, the one-off request. No, I'm talking about the people who come in and out of your life like a revolving door. They show up when it's convenient, when they need help, advice, money, or some kind of emotional support. And when they get what they came for, they vanish, leaving you feeling empty and used. You know, at first, it's easy to overlook. You think maybe they're going through something, maybe they're just having a tough time. But if it's a pattern, if it keeps happening over and over, then it's not just bad luck, it's intentional. They're intentionally using you. They're intentionally taking advantage of your kindness, your time, your resources, without ever thinking about how their actions affect you. They don't see the sacrifices you make for them. They don't care about the emotional toll it takes on you to constantly give, only to be left alone when you need support. They don't even think about how they're making you feel. They just take. And when they're done, they leave. And the worst part is they don't even realize the damage they're causing. They don't realize that every time they show up, only when they need something, they're chipping away at the trust, the respect, and the love you have for them. They're making you question the very foundation of your relationship with them. Are they really your friend? Or are they just someone who knows how to manipulate your kindness to get what they want? That's the question you need to ask yourself. And let me tell you, your time, your energy, your heart, they shouldn't be taken for granted. They shouldn't be used for someone else's convenience. You see, people who only show up when they need something are masters of selfishness. They don't know how to be there for someone else unless there's something in it for them. They don't understand the value of true friendship, the value of giving without expecting anything in return. They don't understand that relationships are built on mutual support, on being there for each other through thick and thin. For them, it's all about the transaction. What can you do for me is the question they're always asking. But never, how can I help you? Never, how can I be there for you? And that's a cold reality to face. It's easy to get caught up in this cycle, especially if you're the kind of person who always wants to help, always wants to be there for others. You think if I keep giving, if I keep helping, eventually they'll see how much I care. They'll realize that I'm always there for them, and they'll start being there for me too. But I'm here to tell you, that's not how it works with these people. They don't change. They don't suddenly become the friend you want them to be. They just keep taking, and you just keep giving. And the cycle continues until you're drained, empty, and broken. So what do you do when you find yourself in this situation? How do you handle someone who only shows up when they need something? The first step is awareness. Recognize the pattern. Don't ignore the signs. You have to see them for who they truly are. No matter how much you might want to believe that they'll change, the truth is people like this won't change unless they realize that their actions have consequences. And let's be honest, if they've been using you for a long time and you've never set boundaries, why would they change? They have no reason to. The next step is setting boundaries. You have to protect yourself. You have to protect your time, your energy, and your heart. It's okay to say no. It's okay to put yourself first. And if someone doesn't like it, if someone tries to guilt you into giving, you need to stand firm. You are not here to be a stepping stone for someone else's agenda. You are not here to be used and discarded. You are worthy of respect. And you deserve to have people in your life who give as much as they take. Finally, don't be afraid to walk away if someone continues to take advantage of you. If they only show up when they need something, and they never show up when you need them, then they're not really your friend, and it's time to let them go. You deserve to have people who are there for you, who support you, who show up in both the good times and the bad. Don't settle for relationships that drain you, that leave you feeling used. You deserve more than that. And trust me, when you make room for people who truly care, people who will show up for you no matter what, you'll feel the difference. You'll feel like your worth has finally been recognized. Remember, you are not a tool for someone else's convenience. You are a person with your own needs, your own dreams, and your own heart. Don't let anyone treat you like you're disposable. Protect yourself. Love yourself. And if someone can't do that for you, then it's time to let them go. Number 4, the one who lies, even about the small things. Have you ever been around someone who lies about everything? It doesn't even matter if it's something small, something insignificant, or something that could easily be verified. They lie anyway. And at first, it might seem like harmless little white lies. Maybe they tell you they did something when they didn't, or they exaggerate a story to make themselves look better. It's easy to brush it off, right? Everyone does it, you might think. But then the lies get bigger. The small lies turn into patterns, and you start to notice that no matter what they're talking about, there's a level of doubt, a feeling that something doesn't add up. You start questioning everything they say, even the things you once trusted. What's worse is that they don't even feel the need to apologize. They don't even seem to care that their lies are beginning to hurt you. But let me tell you something, it's not harmless. These lies are a poison that spreads through your trust, your relationships, and your life. The person who lies about even the smallest things isn't just misleading you, they're manipulating reality. They're changing the facts to fit whatever narrative they want you to believe. And it's dangerous. Because when you allow someone to lie to you, especially about things that don't even matter in the grand scheme of things, you're sending the message that it's okay. You're saying that their dishonesty doesn't matter. But the truth is, if they can lie about the small things, they'll lie about the big things too. It's a habit. It becomes a way of life. And that's something you have to recognize before it's too late. You see, when people lie, it's not just the truth they're manipulating, it's your trust. Trust is one of the most fragile things in a relationship. Once it's broken, it's almost impossible to repair. And the thing is, these small lies, they add up. You don't notice it at first. You don't notice that every little lie, every little fib is chipping away at the foundation of trust you have in that person. But eventually, you'll start to feel it. You'll start to feel like you can't rely on them for anything. You'll start to question their every word, their every action. And that's not a place you want to be. Not with someone you care about. Not with someone who's supposed to have your back. The worst part is that people who lie about small things often don't even see the damage they're causing. They don't even realize that they're slowly eroding the very thing that holds the relationship together. They think it's no big deal. They think it's just a harmless little white lie, that everyone does it. But here's the truth. When someone consistently lies to you about anything, they're showing you who they really are. They're showing you that they don't value honesty. They don't value trust. And if they're willing to lie about the small things, what's stopping them from lying about the big things? What's stopping them from telling you things that could hurt you, things that could betray your trust on a much larger scale? A person who lies even about the small things is someone who isn't looking out for your best interest. They're looking out for their own. And it doesn't matter if it's something trivial. The fact that they lie about the little things means they'll lie when it matters. They'll lie when it counts. And they'll lie to you. They'll lie to protect themselves, to avoid conflict, to make themselves look better, or simply because lying is easier than facing the truth. It's easier than being vulnerable, easier than admitting they made a mistake, easier than being honest. But that's not how true relationships work. True relationships are built on a foundation of honesty. Without honesty, you don't have trust. Without trust, you don't have anything. The problem with these little lies is that they teach you not to believe anything that person says. They make you second guess their words, their actions, and their intentions. And that is a dangerous place to be. When you can't trust the people closest to you, when you start to doubt everything they say, it creates a toxic environment. It creates a space where suspicion and doubt replace openness and security. And that's not something anyone should have to live with. It's exhausting, it's draining, because every time they speak, you're left wondering if what they're telling you is the truth, or if it's just another story they're spinning to get out of a situation. But here's the thing. If someone can't be honest with you about the small things, what makes you think they'll be honest with you about the big things? It's like a small crack in the foundation of a house. At first, it doesn't seem like a big deal. It's just a tiny crack. But over time, that crack gets bigger. It spreads. And eventually, it weakens the entire structure. A lie, no matter how small, is the same thing. It's a crack in the foundation of trust. And as long as that person keeps lying, that crack gets bigger. And sooner or later, it's going to bring everything down. You see, people who lie about small things have a problem with the truth. And they have a problem with you. They don't respect you enough to be honest. They don't care enough about your relationship to treat you with the respect you deserve. Because honesty is not just about telling the truth. It's about valuing the other person enough to be open and transparent with them, even when it's uncomfortable. And when someone lies, even about the little things, it shows that they're not willing to do that. They're not willing to put the effort into being real with you. They're not willing to show up with integrity. Now, it's not always easy to spot these lies, especially when they're small. It's easy to let them slide. It's easy to make excuses for the person who keeps lying, to tell yourself that it's no big deal. But the truth is, it is a big deal. Because each lie is a reflection of their character. Each lie is a reflection of how they see you and how they see your relationship. And if they can't be truthful with you about the small things, they're not someone you should trust with the big things. They're not someone you should rely on. At some point, you have to ask yourself, how much dishonesty are you willing to tolerate? How many small lies are you willing to overlook before they start affecting your life, your peace, and your happiness? If you keep allowing someone to lie to you, to manipulate the truth, to change the story to fit their needs, you're not protecting yourself, you're enabling them. You're allowing them to walk all over your trust, and you deserve more than that. You deserve people in your life who are honest with you, who value you enough to be real with you, no matter how difficult the truth may be. So remember, trust your gut. If you feel like something's not right, if you feel like someone is lying to you, don't ignore that feeling. The truth will always come to light. And when it does, you'll know exactly where you stand. And you'll know that you deserve more than someone who lies, even about the small things. Number 5, the one who pretends to celebrate you. There are a few things more heartbreaking than realizing that someone in your life doesn't genuinely celebrate your success. They pretend to be happy for you. They put on a smile, offer words of praise, but deep down, they don't want to see you thrive. They don't want to see you win. They want to see you stay small, stay in your place, and remain in the shadows so their insecurities can feel validated. At first, you may think they're just being supportive, just showing kindness. But if you pay attention, you'll start to see the cracks. You'll see the fakeness in their words, the jealousy in their eyes, and the way they try to downplay your achievements as if they're not a big deal. You'll begin to feel it, that underlying bitterness they try to hide behind their congratulations. The truth is, when someone pretends to celebrate you, they're not celebrating you at all. They're celebrating the fact that they haven't been able to outdo you yet. They're celebrating their own lack of progress, their own failures, as if they're winning because you haven't truly reached the height they fear. You see, real celebration isn't just about empty words or superficial praise. Real celebration is about being genuinely happy for someone else's success. It's about uplifting them, cheering them on, and showing them that you're rooting for their progress. A true friend, a true supporter, won't try to steal the spotlight from you, won't try to make themselves look better in comparison. Instead, they will stand beside you, proud of you, and genuinely happy to see you succeed. But the one who pretends to celebrate you, they don't have that capacity. Their words are hollow, and their actions are even emptier. They will say things like, "That's great," or "I'm so proud of you." But their tone, their body language, tells a completely different story. And you feel it. You feel that disconnect. You feel the insincerity radiating from them. And you start to question why they're even in your life. This kind of person might not even realize the damage they're doing. They might convince themselves that they're being supportive, that they're just trying to keep things cool between you. But the truth is, They're feeding off of your success to inflate their own fragile ego. They can't truly celebrate you because in their heart, they're competing with you. They're measuring their worth against yours, and the moment you start to rise, it feels like a threat to them. Instead of lifting you up, they try to bring you down, even if it's in small, subtle ways. They'll find ways to minimize your achievements, to make you feel like what you've done isn't that special, or that you don't deserve the recognition you're getting. And it hurts. It cuts deep. Because you expect the people in your life to be the ones who support you the most. You expect them to cheer for you, to be your number one fans, especially when things are going right. But instead, you're left feeling drained, unsupported, and uncertain about whether they truly want what's best for you. Think about this. If someone in your life truly cared about you, truly valued your success, they wouldn't pretend to celebrate you. They wouldn't put on a mask and act like they're happy for you just to keep the peace or protect their own pride. No, they would let their joy for you shine through. They would be the ones who are first in line to say, "You did it. I knew you could. I'm so proud of you." And they wouldn't stop there. They would be there to support you every step of the way, to help you keep climbing, to offer guidance, to celebrate your achievements in a way that doesn't feel like a competition. Because when someone truly celebrates you, they're not threatened by your success. They're inspired by it. They see your accomplishments and they're reminded of the potential they have within themselves. They see you as an example of what's possible, not as someone they need to one up. And that's the difference. The person who pretends to celebrate you might even go as far as making excuses for why they can't be as happy for you as they should be. They might try to deflect attention from you by talking about their own struggles or accomplishments. They might make subtle digs at your success, not directly attacking it, but making comments that undermine the value of your hard work. They'll try to shift the focus back onto themselves, making sure that the spotlight never stays on you for too long. And at first, you might not notice it. You might brush it off, thinking it's just them being normal or trying to relate. But deep down, you know something isn't right. You feel the sting of their words, the jealousy in their actions. It's not real support. It's not genuine celebration. It's manipulation. It's a way for them to keep their own insecurities in check, to make themselves feel better by minimizing your success. Now, let me tell you something important. You cannot allow these people to take up space in your life. You cannot allow them to keep pretending to be your biggest cheerleader while secretly hoping you fail. You deserve better than that. You deserve people who genuinely want to see you succeed, who will celebrate every milestone, every win, and every victory as if it were their own. You deserve people who will stand by your side, proud of who you are and what you've accomplished, without the need for comparison or competition. You deserve people who understand that your success doesn't take anything away from them, but instead, it's a reflection of the endless possibilities that exist for everyone. Success is not a limited resource. There's enough to go around for all of us. And when you surround yourself with people who understand that, people who genuinely celebrate you, that's when you'll feel the true power of support. The one who pretends to celebrate you will never lift you up. They'll never help you get to the next level. Instead, they'll keep you stuck in a cycle of doubt and insecurity, feeding off your success while resenting it at the same time. They'll hold you back, even if it's unintentionally. They'll keep you from reaching your full potential because deep down, they don't want you to get too far ahead of them. So remember this, surround yourself with people who want to see you rise. People who will celebrate your victories and help you overcome your failures. People who will stand by your side and cheer you on no matter how high you climb. These are the people worth having in your corner. These are the people who will lift you up, not bring you down. And when you find them, hold on to them, because they are the ones who truly want to see you succeed. Number 6, the one who never keeps their promises. When someone makes a promise to you, it's an unspoken contract. It's an agreement that says, I'm committed to you, to what we've discussed, and to being there when you need me. You hold on to that promise, you take it to heart, and you believe that this person has your back. But what happens when they don't follow through? What happens when the promises they make fall flat, time after time, leaving you waiting, hoping, and yet constantly disappointed? The truth is, the person who never keeps their promises doesn't just break their word, they break your trust. And trust, once broken, is one of the hardest things to rebuild. We've all been there. We've all been let down by someone who said they'd show up, who said they'd do something only to leave us hanging. It could be something as simple as I'll call you tomorrow, and tomorrow comes and there's no call. Or something bigger, like I'll help you with that project, and when the time comes, they're nowhere to be found. At first, you give them the benefit of the doubt. You make excuses for them. You tell yourself, maybe they're just busy, maybe something came up. But as time goes on, you start to realize it's more than just one missed promise. It's a pattern of empty words, of good intentions that never translate into action. And each time they break their word, a little piece of your faith in them disappears. And every time they fail to show up, it chips away at your belief in them as a person. Because promises are not just words. They're symbols of trust, of reliability, and of commitment. When someone can't keep their promises, they're telling you that you're not important enough for them to follow through. They're telling you that their word means nothing. It doesn't matter how many times they apologize. It doesn't matter how many times they say, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. The truth is, words without action are just empty noise. We've all heard the saying, actions speak louder than words, and it couldn't be truer when it comes to promises. If someone tells you they'll do something and they don't, what they're really telling you is that they're unreliable and that they don't care enough to honor their word. Maybe they make excuses, maybe they shift the blame, but deep down, you know the truth. They just don't prioritize you. They don't value you enough to follow through. And that's a painful realization. When you're dealing with someone who never keeps their promises, it can leave you feeling empty, vulnerable, and unsure of where you stand. You start to question your own worth. You wonder, why doesn't this person follow through for me? What did I do wrong? The thing is, it's not about you. It's about them. It's about their lack of respect, their lack of integrity, and their inability to see the importance of the promises they make. It's easy to make a promise. It's easy to say, I'll be there for you. But the real test comes in the follow-through. The real measure of someone's character is what they do when the time comes to honor their word. Do they show up or do they make excuses? Do they deliver or do they leave you hanging once again? You see, someone who never keeps their promises is someone who doesn't understand the weight of their words. They may think that they're just letting you down in small ways, but the truth is, every broken promise is a betrayal of your trust. It's a reminder that their word is not dependable and that they're not someone you can rely on. And when you start to realize that, you have to ask yourself, why am I allowing this person to continue making promises they won't keep? Why am I continuing to let them break my heart time after time? Let me tell you something important. You deserve better than that. You deserve people who will honor their word. You deserve people who will follow through when they say they will. You deserve people who will be there for you, not just when it's convenient for them, but when you need them the most. When someone can't keep their promises, it shows you that they don't care enough about you to put in the effort. They're not invested in the relationship the way you are. They're not prioritizing you, and that's a painful reality to face. But facing it is necessary for your growth. You cannot keep investing your time, energy, and heart into people who can't keep their promises. You cannot keep allowing them to disappoint you. Because in the end, you'll be the one left holding the bag, wondering why you're always the one left in the lurch. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking, but they've promised before, and I want to believe in them. I want to give them another chance. And I get it. You want to be hopeful. You want to believe that people can change. But let me tell you something. You can't build a foundation on broken promises. You can't keep forgiving someone who continually disrespects you by not keeping their word. You can't keep allowing someone to make you feel small, unimportant, or unworthy because they fail to show up when it matters most. So here's what you need to do. You need to start setting boundaries. You need to stop letting people off the hook for breaking their promises. You need to stop accepting excuses, stop tolerating mediocrity, and start demanding accountability. You need to stop giving your time and energy to people who don't respect you enough to follow through. It's hard, I know. It's hard to let go of people you care about. It's hard to face the truth that they're not who you thought they were. But in the end, it's for your own good, because when someone can't keep their promises, they can't be trusted with your heart, your time, or your life. And when you let them continue to break their word, you're only enabling their behavior. You're telling them that it's okay to disappoint you. You're telling them that your trust is expendable, that it's not as important as their convenience. You deserve better than that. You deserve people who will be there for you when they say they will, people who will follow through, people who will keep their promises no matter what. And until you find those people, you need to protect yourself. You need to stop giving your trust to those who don't deserve it and start investing your energy in those who truly value you. Because at the end of the day, your time is precious. Your energy is valuable. And you deserve people who will honor that, people who will keep their promises and show up for you every single time. Number 7, the one who thrives on drama. There's always one person in your life, isn't there? The one who can't stand to see peace. The one who thrives on chaos, the one who stirs the pot, intentionally causing trouble, turning every little disagreement into an all-out war. They create drama not because something needs to be said, not because something's important, but because they need the attention. They need the conflict. They crave it, as if their existence is built on the constant turmoil they generate. And let me tell you something. If you have someone like this in your life, someone who thrives on drama, you need to remove them as quickly as you can, because they will destroy your peace, your energy, and eventually your life. We've all encountered this kind of person, the one who can never seem to just let things go. They're the ones who escalate the smallest issues into full-blown confrontations. They have a way of making mountains out of molehills, making you feel like everything is an emergency, like every problem is a crisis. And why they do this? Because it feeds them. It fuels their need for attention, for validation, for control. Drama is like oxygen to them. Without it, they're suffocating. They don't know how to function without stirring things up, without causing a scene. The more chaotic their life becomes, the more alive they feel. But let's get one thing straight. If someone thrives on drama, they're not your friend. They're not your ally. They're a parasite, feeding off your energy, your peace, and your calm. They will pull you into their whirlwind, drag you into their mess, and leave you drained, confused, and emotionally exhausted. They will make you question your own sanity, because they love to manipulate, to control the narrative, to twist your words and actions into something they can use to create more chaos. They don't care about the truth. They don't care about what's right. All they care about is making everything around them as chaotic and dramatic as possible, because when there's drama, they're in the spotlight. This kind of person is toxic. They wear you down over time, draining you emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. You start to realize that every conversation with them is like walking through a minefield. You never know when they're going to blow something out of proportion, when they're going to twist something you said or did into a major confrontation. You can never just be at peace with them, because they thrive on keeping things stirred up. If things are going too smoothly, you can bet they'll do something to throw a wrench into it just to keep the chaos alive. They'll stir up a fight, spread a rumor, or make a trivial issue seem like the end of the world. They don't care about the consequences. They don't care who they hurt or how much damage they cause. As long as there's drama, they're getting what they need. But here's the real problem. When you engage with this kind of person, you're feeding into their game. You're giving them the very thing they want: attention, conflict, drama. And in doing so, you're allowing them to control your emotions, your reactions, and your life. Every time you respond to their manipulation, every time you get caught up in their chaos, you're letting them win. You're giving them power over you. And if you're not careful, you'll find yourself constantly involved in drama, caught in a cycle of emotional upheaval, never knowing peace, never knowing calm. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking, but they're my friend, they're my family. I can't just cut them out. And I understand that. It's hard to walk away from people you care about, even when they're toxic. But you have to understand something. You cannot afford to let someone's need for drama take away your peace. You cannot allow their chaos to dictate your emotional state. Your peace of mind is too important. Your mental and emotional health are too valuable. And if you let someone like this stay in your life, constantly creating drama, you'll find yourself slowly losing both. This is where you have to make a choice. You have to choose peace over drama. You have to choose clarity over confusion. You have to choose your well-being over their need for chaos. You don't owe anyone your energy. You don't owe anyone your peace. If someone in your life thrives on drama, it's time to cut the cord. It's time to recognize that they don't have the right to disrupt your life, to pull you into their emotional roller coaster. They are not bringing value to your life. They're only bringing chaos. And you don't need that. The person who thrives on drama will never change. They may apologize, they may promise to do better, but as long as they crave attention, as long as they thrive on conflict, they will keep dragging you back into their chaos. They will continue to manipulate, to twist the truth, to cause problems just to keep the drama going. And you have to ask yourself, is this the kind of person I want in my life? Is this the kind of energy you want to surround yourself with? Is this the kind of person who deserves a place in your circle? You deserve better. You deserve people who bring calm into your life, who uplift you, who encourage you, who create an environment of support and peace. You don't need anyone who thrives on drama. You don't need anyone who is constantly stirring the pot, trying to create conflict where there is none. Your energy is too precious. Your peace is too valuable. And if you continue to let people who thrive on drama into your life, you're allowing them to drain you, to wear you down, and to take away the joy and peace you deserve. So here's what you need to do. You need to set boundaries. You need to recognize that not everyone deserves a seat at your table. If someone thrives on drama, it's time to step back. It's time to protect your peace, your mental health, and your emotional stability. Because when you let go of people who thrive on chaos, you make room for those who bring peace, for those who respect your boundaries, and for those who want to see you thrive, not struggle in their storm. Let them have their drama. You don't need it. Life is too short to spend it surrounded by the wrong people. Your time, your energy, your heart, they are precious. Protect them. Not everyone deserves access to you. And when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Thank you.